frustrated you are because you always forget that there actually are unsolved mysteries and you want the resolution that you don't get. We talked about the first episode, which we feel like is the most compelling episode as far as being an unsolved mystery, because really all the rest of the ones you can kind of infer what happened a little bit in between each one, except for the UFO one. But all the rest of them are true crime except for the UFO one.
Yeah.
But the first
Also,
one
real
is
quick,
the
Zach,
real
I
boom.
switched again from streaming to recording
Okay.
because my camera started lagging.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing because the internet output. So with recording again on my computer,
Okay.
I'm just gonna take the fucking video from that and just take that shit and splice it to this.
There we go.
Sorry.
Make it work. No, you're good. Well, we're making it work. We're making it through it. So we did that. Unsolved Mysteries. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that?
No, I think everything that we need
We
to
talked
say
about
has
our
been
most
said.
frustrating episodes, which for you was the last one with the mom who killed her daughter.
Yeah.
Who definitely fucking killed her daughter.
And then their fucking husband.
Yeah, and she killed her husband.
Who also she fucking cheated on her original
She cheated
husband
on her husband
with her brother, the husband's brother.
with the brother, and then she cheated on the brother with a different guy who she then
killed the husband. Yeah.
Killed the brother who she cheated on with the other guy that she was cheating on with.
Yeah.
And then that guy became the new stepfather, and all the girls fucking hated him.
Right, exactly.
Well, that was the thing that was honestly the saddest part about that episode for me, which is like hearing from the original husband and then hearing about the brother. It's just like two really solid dudes that like didn't deserve it. And then honestly, the saddest part about that was like he talked about how he got a fist fight on his brother about it. And then he eventually came out and he's like, it's not fucking worth it, dude. Like, you should go for her. And then he still did, and he's like, if he'd have listened to me, he wouldn't have fucking died.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then you mentioned you watched the new Trigger thing.
Oh, so I watched Brand New Animal, the Trigger's new anime. It's really fun. I liked it a lot. Specifically, the highlight episode for me was definitely there's an episode like halfway through the season where they do a baseball thing, where it's all just based around a baseball game, but it's really fun. I like a lot of the characters they introduced in that episode, and a lot of them become recurring characters throughout the rest of the season. I think unlike a lot of Trigger anime, I think it's a lot more tightly focused, because the last big one, Gridman was tightly focused. I like what they did with Gridman a lot, but the one before that was they did Darling in the Franxx, and that one was just like a comedy of errors as far as fucking anime is concerned, because that one has the same thing. I don't know if you ever watched it, but like it had the same problem that Soul Eater had for me, or not Soul Eater, Sword Art Online had for me, which was it has a really solid first half, and then the second half just like goes in a direction that like makes no fucking sense and like almost ruins the entire fucking show. Just how fucking bonkers it is as far as Darling in the Franxx. Trigger doesn't have that. First of all, because it's not long enough to really do something like that, I feel like. Because 12 episodes is really hard to like fucking completely switch everything up halfway through. Because 6 episodes for an anime is really hard to establish. Really, I feel like it's 6 episodes in the anime, you're still establishing what your show is about, kind of, unless you're like on the second episode in. But and so I feel like it would be really hard to like try to switch something up like that. But yeah, I feel like it's very tightly focused. I like the story a lot. The animation's good. It reminded me a lot of Kill la Kill's animation, which I really liked. It had that same kind of rough, hand-drawn aesthetic to it that I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, overall, I really, really like that series. Really solid. Makes me, I'm still waiting for their fucking cyberpunk shit that's gonna come out in like 3 fucking years, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, but so yeah, watch that. That was fun. The last thing that I watched was I just had a rough week this week, and I feel like I needed some comfort watching. And for me, I don't know what your comfort watching is, but for me, my comfort watching is cooking shows.
Okay.
Well, Psych too, but I just watched Psych, so I need something different. So for me, my comfort watching besides Psych is cooking shows. So Netflix has a new cooking show called Crazy Delicious that I watch.
Yep.
I think I watched a couple episodes of it. It's really fun. It has a very similar vibe to me of Great British Baking Show, which I fucking love that series. I love Great British Baking Show. Probably one of my favorite cooking shows.
That's the David Cho one, right?
No, Great British Baking Show is the Paul Hollywood
No,
one.
no, the Crazy Delicious.
Oh,
That's David Cho or no?
no, because that is the one. It has Heston. It has Carla from. She was on the ABC cooking show at whatever, and then it has Nicola. I've never heard of any. I've only heard of Carla before because I recognized her on being on the ABC cooking show. So I recognized her, but I didn't recognize any of the other ones. Like I didn't recognize Heston, and they had another one that was like a barbecue. A chef that specialized in like barbecue and like using fire in his cooking, which was, I think he was a Swedish chef. His name was Nicholas Dresden, I think, or something like that. But it's really good. I really enjoy it a lot. It has that same positive attitude of like Great British Baking Show, where it's like it's a competition, but at the end of the day, you're not like having people like going at each other and like trying to like sabotage each other, like trash talking or anything like that. It's just like a very positive, like wholesome experience where you're just watching these people like do their best with their own creativity to try to make something. And for me, I don't know, there's just something very comforting about that really puts me in like a very good headspace. So I was easily able to like, I didn't binge the entire thing, but I think I made it probably about halfway through the season. I know I watched like 5 or 6 episodes, so it was really fun watch for me. Really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So besides that, last thing I really did was that I fucking took your suggestion, and I fucking dove headfirst into Dresden. I read book 1 of Dresden Files, Stormfront. Had a fun time with it, man. I really like him. I like the character. I like his writing style. I mean, it basically reads for me. I mean, for me, I think the books that I tend to enjoy are mystery books. And so for him writing it from basically a noir detective style, but in urban fantasy, I think is something that I think is a lot more approachable for me to get into. Just because it's a writing style and a character archetype and style that I already thoroughly enjoy from that aspect. So I think it was a lot easier for me to get through. But yeah, I really liked it. I have book 2 already. I haven't popped it open yet. But I'm probably going to pop it open this weekend. I'll probably take it to the pool and get started with it because that's really what I did last week. I probably read half the book when I went to the pool.
Well, you're 14 books away from.
I know, dude. I'm a long ways away, but you know what?
Talks.
I'm fine with taking my time, taking a little bit of breather. After I read the first one, I was like, I bought the second book right away, but I was like, I don't want to start it right away. I want to give it a little bit of breathing room. You know, I don't.
You need to.
I just don't want to get burned out. That's all.
No, here's the thing. You won't get burned out because book 1 and 2 are the worst ones. And you're gonna get to book 3, and immediately the opening scene is like fucking rad.
Okay.
And you're gonna be like, why did I even read the first 2? Even though because it's good character development.
Yeah.
But like, you're gonna get to book 3, and you're gonna be like, this is a whole different ball game.
Okay.
Like he's like leveled up so much as a writer.
Okay.
And Peace Talks comes out in like 7 days or some shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like just counting down until that book comes out, man. I've been chomping at the bit waiting for this book to come out.
Okay.
And he keeps putting out chapters like I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago.
I was gonna say, how many preview chapters did he just put out the whole fucking book?
I think he's put 5 out. I stopped reading at 3.
Yeah.
But he's put like 5 out.
That's insane.
And I'm like, okay, I'm done now.
I mean, putting 5 out is so insane to me. That's so many.
I got the gist of it. I'm gonna wait till the book comes out in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I think if you get to, I think Grave Peril is book 3.
Okay.
And like, it's so hard for me as an urban fantasy fanatic. I love urban fantasy books. It's my favorite fantasy genre is urban fantasy, and that goes back to Hellblazer. It goes back to Swamp Thing, if you want to consider Swamp Thing that, you know, more maybe Supernatural. Supernatural, the actual show, I like a lot, at least the first few seasons.
Okay.
This goes back to Blade, like stuff like that. I love urban fantasy.
Okay.
And there is no other god tier author of urban fantasy, but Jim Butcher and Harry Dresden as the character.
Okay.
And like I've said to you on the last episode and through our private text, like Stormfront's great. He's a weak wizard in this book.
Oh yeah, he's super weak.
He's super. He's not gonna. If you go into the books thinking he's out there like doing some fucking Gandalf stuff, he's not there yet. He's strong.
Yeah.
Do they explain a lot? Does he explain in the first book about Justin or no?
No.
He mentions him though, right?
Justin.
His teacher,
no.
dark.
Oh well, yeah. He mentions it. He doesn't mention him by name, but he mentions his mentor, the fact that he had to kill him because he tried to make him turn to the dark arts.
Yeah.
And that was how he got the what was it called? Basically, the death sentence, or what was it?
Yeah.
Something that was on him from the White Council that basically said that like you fuck up once and you're dead.
You're dead, right? So like,
which got taken off by the end of the book, which I thought was a nice way to wrap it up. Because I was like, how the fuck are you gonna keep doing a series if every time he tries to do something gets fucking killed?
Well, they mention Justin, which is his teacher.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned like, and you pretty much can gather from the first book like, okay, he didn't win this fight because he was more powerful than Justin.
Okay.
He won this fight because he was lucky.
Okay.
I mean, obviously there's raw. He always says in the books with Harry that like I have a lot of brute force. I have a lot of brute force magic power.
Honestly, the thing that I remember the most, at least from book 1, was that like, I mean, specifically the way that he talks about wizards is that like, brute force doesn't matter as much. It's more about not even intelligence, but just being clever, which I think I enjoyed a lot more. Which is basically, it doesn't matter what spells you can use as much as how you can use your spells.
It's a mixture of all that, right? Because you meet wizards later in the series that I'm gonna do my best not to spoil anything, who are more articulate, if you want to say that way, who are more flexible with their magic, who can do more things easier than Harry. But Harry always has a stronger reserve, and like he's like a sledgehammer.
Okay.
That's like his skill set. Like he's a sledgehammer, and over the course of the series, as he progresses in age and in battle, he becomes a more well-rounded wizard. But when you first meet him, he's like, okay, bad guy, I got fire. I'm just gonna fucking blow you up. That's my power. And then by book 5 or 6, he's like, I have different items I can use. I have a different spell skill set. Obviously, he meets other characters, and I think by the time you meet, we get to book 3, like I was telling you in our text, that there's a reason why Jim Butcher says start there, because that's one. It's the most. Book 1 and 2 are good books. They're not great books. The story connects through all the books, so even if you buy book 6, you're like, oh man, Stormfront is irrelevant. No, he connects the dots through all the books.
Okay.
So it matters, definitely. But they're good for primer to know who Karen is and to know who Harry is and to get an idea about the wardens. And you get the gist of like, okay, how Harry talks about the council isn't in the high esteem.
No.
He talks about them like they're fucking
busybodies.
Secret police, I mean, like they're literally the Gestapo of the wizarding world. So it's not Harry Potter, it's a different level of like, the fact that there's a warden who's in Chicago, like, listen, I'm gonna catch you fucking up, what I mean? But
he basically says he's gonna fucking chop his head off.
Oh, he's a fucking sword.
Yeah.
He's
got some weird magical sword, I guess, that like doesn't. He explained it somewhat. I think that it was like. It's like resistant to magic or something like that. Some
every warden has a sword. It's kind of like the cloak that they wear and the sword. That's like the uniform. But like I said, from book 3 up to where I'm at now, which is the current book, waiting for the next book to come out, Harry's a god tier character. Okay. And there's still more people stronger than him. Wow. But there's still people stronger than him, right? So he's powerful as shit, and all of Chicago knows who he is. All of the wizarding, supernatural, paranormal world knows who he is. Especially where I'm at now, which I can't spoil for you, but especially where I'm at now, everyone knows who the fuck he is, right?
Okay.
More than before. And because I don't because it's hard for me to remember back to what how much he explains of the council in book 1 and 2.
He really doesn't explain it all that much. He explains that the council is the one that basically rules over the Wizarding world. The council is the one that and make sure that the laws of the Wizarding world are followed.
Right.
They're the ones that control the wardens,
Okay.
essentially. There really isn't much else besides that. I mean, he talks about the fact that they're all a bunch of old fuddy-duddies. He talks about the fact that he has a few allies on the White Council
Yeah.
who know him and who, trust him. They don't really explain who they are, but they say that he does have allies.
Yeah. Okay.
He explains that they're scattered throughout the world because the fact that they were all converging to Chicago for his trial was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's really all they really talked about.
Well, as much as I can to hype you up to continue reading,
Mm-hmm.
like, because Full Moon, book 2, it's good. You can kind of guess the monster by the title.
I mean, it's fucking werewolf, obviously.
It's werewolves,
yeah.
And it's a cool story. And they give you characters in the book that definitely come into play in later books that are like, around Harry.
Okay.
But when you get to book 3, Grave Peril, which I believe it's Grave Peril. I could be completely wrong.
I just added it to my shopping cart. Let me look.
Grave Peril, I'm pretty sure it's book 3. You get to meet Michael, and I mean, he's a fucking rad character, man.
Grave Peril. Yep.
Yeah, he's a rad character. And I think once you read book 3, I think you'll read book 3 faster than you read the other 2.
Okay.
And you're going to immediately want to go to book 4, which I think book 4 is Summer Night. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to immediately want to go into the next book because it's such a good, like, 1 and 2 are, like, good books. And 3, you're like, oh my god, this Butcher guy has a fucking world that he has built.
Okay.
And then every book he keeps continually to add to the mythos, whether it's more vampire courts, it's other demon stuff here. There's other religious aspects here and there. You meet more wizards. Other
Do I
wizards.
get some Helsing shit with the fucking Catholic Church? We got some fucking Anderson stuff going on.
Can I tell you? Do you care if I tell you?
Yeah, I do. I do care. Never mind.
Because they okay, I'll tell you right now. Literally at the beginning of book 3, he literally tells you about that whole thing.
Okay.
So it's like from the get go of the book.
I'll wait then.
You read the first page. You're like, okay, who the fuck's this guy? This guy's brand new. And then you're like, oh, okay. Because from over the course of inner monologue, you learn about Harry's personal relationship with Christianity and with God and all that kind of stuff. And then there's other powerful deities that arrive in the book. So like I said before, last episode, it starts out as a noir story because Jim Butcher looked at all the Dashiell Hammett stuff, all the old classic, pulpy characters, based Harry off of them. And for the first few books, it's a real mystery. And then to where I'm at now, in the current lineup, there's mysteries there, but it's much more fantasy.
Okay.
It's still Chicago based. But it's a ton of fantasy shit. And he doesn't push it in your face at the get go, so you're overwhelmed. He gives you piece by piece, so you're constantly adding into your mind. Okay, it's literally a shonen. It's shonen. It's fucking shonen. It's like, think about it, right? Harry is a wizard.
Yeah.
He goes to the council. What's the council but fucking captains in any shonen show? It's the fucking
Jonin in fucking Naruto.
It's that. It's the fucking. Well, it's more like the Kage.
Okay. So Council of the Kage. Yeah. That makes
or like
sense.
If you're in Bleach, it's the captains of the Soul Reapers. It's literally you meet these people and they tell you in
One Piece, it's the fucking Marines.
It's the Marines, or it's the Shichibukai, or it's the it's any sort. Again, we've said before, One Piece is the greatest because One Piece gives you fucking 5 different power structures.
Like 5 different groups because you've got, what is it? The fucking, what is it? What is Luffy? Like the new degenerates or something like that?
The new generation or whatever.
New generation, something like that. And then you've got the pirate warlords, and then you've got the Marine captain, or the Marine, they're not captains. What are they?
The admirals.
Admirals. And then you've got, what else?
Well, not even that. You have the Marines in general, which is all the captains, the admirals, all those people.
Yeah.
All that rank structure. You have all of Luffy's new generation of whatever.
Yeah.
Right? You have the warlords who
Yeah.
work for the government, who I think are now. I haven't read One Piece in a couple years. They're officially, I think, disbanded. I think.
I think they are. I know that the last time I saw something on One Piece, because it was trending on Twitter, was he's like digging into the backstory of like fucking actual
Oh
Goldie
yeah,
Roger now or some
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And then you have all the Yonko.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how it's pronounced,
I think
which is
so.
like Shanks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have the CP9.
I don't even remember that. Yeah,
CP9 is
Baroque Works. Baroque Works was his own fucking
right.
thing for like the
CP9 is like
entire arc.
the CIA for the Marines,
Okay.
for the world. Yeah, then you have
I
above
didn't get
them,
that
you,
far.
and then above them you have the world government, which is like
Yeah, the world government.
who
Yeah.
controls everything, and then opposite of them you have Luffy's dad, which is the
Oh yeah,
Revolution.
Dragon Luffy, right? Or is
Yeah,
that
Monkey D. Dragon.
Monkey D. Dragon? That's right.
So you have so many different tier lists of characters, which
Is he the one with the tattoo on his face that shows up in
Yeah.
like the first? Okay.
yeah, and I eat that shit up, dude.
Yeah,
I eat that shit up.
I was talking to a coworker about this today because she watches a lot of anime too, and she was talking. We were talking a bit, and we were talking about how I want to get in One Piece, but I told her that it's like every time I watch like an arc or two, and then I get fucking burned out because each arc is like fucking 40 to 50 episodes.
So you
at
gotta
least.
read it.
Like,
You gotta read it.
It's fucking ridiculous. I know.
It's better to read it.
Well, I was telling her, I was like, I should probably read it, but it's like, even then, it's like there's over like I feel like there's over like 1,500 chapters or some fucking bullshit.
I can't tell you how many. There's a ton.
And it's like I was like, yeah, if I want to like lock myself in my room for like a fucking week, I could probably catch up. But like,
Well, it's simple as this. I told you this literally. What year did we go to your college dorm and stay with you when you were watching One Piece in your dorm?
it would have had to have been 2013. I probably.
So 7 years ago, you were watching like were you in Skypia or were you at Crocodile?
I think the first time I ever watched One Piece, the first time I actually tried to watch One Piece, not like on Toonami. I went through. I think I ended at Sky. I'm trying to remember now. Who was the last? I think Robin's arc was the last one, where it was like after that she joins a crew. I think that was where I ended up at, because the last time I tried to watch it was like 1 or 2 years ago, and I got to Frankie's arc.
Right.
And then I couldn't. I stopped at Frankie's arc.
Well, when we were at your dorm 7 years ago, you were watching it, and you were either with Crocodile or you were at Skype. I can't remember which one you were at.
I think it was at Crocodile. I
remember telling you then, just fucking read it.
Yeah.
And honestly, and to be completely honest, you can. I would fucking if I go back and read it now, I would skip all the way up until Frankie.
Up until Frankie?
I would start at Frankie.
Okay.
Because that's first power up. That's first everything for Luffy.
No, wait, hold on. Well, the last time, hold on. Is Frankie the arc? Because the first power up is second gear, and that's when he faces off against Leopard Dude. Is that Frankie arc?
Yeah.
I thought that was before Frankie.
I'm pretty sure it's Frankie arc.
Is that Frankie?
Yeah.
I can't even remember now. I did watch that fight.
Yeah,
that
I'm
fight
pretty sure
is
that's
fucking
Frankie
sick.
arc.
Second gear is sick. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I would start there, and then read all the way up until Marineford. And once you get to Marineford, you're not going to want to stop reading, because that's when shit happens.
Yeah. Well, that after Marineford is the time skip, right? Yeah. Marineford's all the shit, because that's all the fucking cool animals that I've always seen, with the lava guy, and you've got the gold guy, you've got
Kainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji.
Yeah, so you've got all those cool guys, and then you've got Ace, everybody fucking knows about, and then you've got Whitebeard. Yeah, I want to get into it because all the characters are rad. I've always liked all the characters' powers. I thought the Devil Fruit is like a really cool power system, but I just it's always so daunting. The length is so daunting for me always.
Well, there's definitely downfalls to One Piece, length being one. Also, like, a lot of the girls look the same.
Yeah, and also that was the thing where it was like, I feel like after the time skip, from what I've seen, is like Robin and Nami basically become like nothing as far as characters are concerned, which is disappointing to me.
I mean,
or at least Robin does. Well, Nami was always
the primary. I mean, I think this is from my opinion, from obviously years ago now, was when time skip happened, but like thinking back to like Punk Hazard and these other arcs. Like the primary, they all fight and they all have fight scenes and stuff, but I feel like Oda really pushed like the three big fighters to the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it eventually gets to a point where it's really just like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji.
But
and
they all get power boosts. They all get stronger. They all do have their big fights. Like,
I mean, honestly, the
would
one
be
that's
lying.
most interesting to me is Usopp because I like his Sun King gimmick, where he
Yeah.
has that weird.
See, I hate that character.
You don't like Usopp?
No, I
Not
hate
even
that
time
character.
skip?
Not even time skip.
I like his. I mean, I don't know much about his character, but I like his Sun King getup. I think it looks fucking rad,
See,
and he's got the slingshot staff thing that I think looks
What
rad.
I like about One Piece so much is that since it's been going on for so long,
Mm-hmm.
Oda has been able to to do what I was talking about with Dresden, where he's able to do so many interwoven things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, Luffy's grandpa's a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
Like a famous Marine. Like Luffy's grandpa's the one who caught Goldie Roger. Like, and they were good friends. And then how is Luffy's dad's a fucking revolutionary, the most wanted man on the planet? So it's like stuff like that. I think is really cool, But Luffy doesn't even know his dad. Luffy's like, hero is fucking Shanks.
Yeah.
Usopp's dad's is part of Shanks' crew. Like stuff like that to me, I really enjoy. I do think it should end soon.
I don't know if it will. I feel like the last time there was an article like a bit ago where it was like the author said that he was like 3/4 of the way through One Piece or something like that.
They're in the Grand Line.
Yeah.
But it took 20 years to get to the Grand Line or whatever. So while it's in its final, I believe it's in its final segment.
Mm-hmm.
That could still be a 10-year, 15-year final segment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you should read Dresden. You should keep reading.
I will. I mean, I have the second book. I just need to start reading it.
And like I said, if you want to read book 3 after you read book 2, I can get it for you, no problem.
I mean, luckily Amazon's got them pretty cheap, where they've got the paperbacks are like $8. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with that because I don't know. I think I talked about this last week, but I don't know. As far as books are concerned, I've tried to read stuff, and I mean, there was a time where I couldn't have books in my old work when I worked at that law firm, so I was forced to read stuff on my phone back then. So I went through a couple of books when I was just sitting there not doing anything, and I feel like I read fucking 10 to 15 books in the span of 2 months just because I was just sitting there not doing anything. But so I read those on my phone, but I really don't enjoy that. I really enjoy having the physical book in my hands. So
I'm honestly transitioned now. I prefer reading on my Kindle Paperwhite or on my phone.
Okay.
Because I just read so much.
Mm-hmm.
If I read less, if I was reading 2 books a month, then maybe. But I read 5 or 6, 7 books a month.
Right.
So to me, it's just for pure convenience of I can finish a book, and then immediately tap next book.
Yeah.
I'm reading concurrently 7 or 8 different long going series.
Okay.
Across different genres. I'm reading the Ranger series, Quinn Coulson, which is a crime. Country crime western, neo-western series by Ace Atkins, which I'm reading that. Dresden, obviously, but I'm gonna buy that in paperback or in hardcover. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Dresden, all the Brandon Sanderson, these huge ass epic fantasy books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading. All the fucking Tom Clancy books that aren't by Tom Clancy because Tom Clancy's dead. I read all those.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me. Plus, I read a lot of fucking. I'll get to it in my notes, but I read a lot of football and sports books.
Mm-hmm.
Not even biographies. There's a lot of fucking tactics and sabermetrics and
Okay.
right now I'm reading. It's a book by Bill Walsh, who's a famous,
Reading some Moneyball? Is that what you're reading?
I have read it and it's a good book, but I actually like other ones. There's a book called Smart Baseball, which is essentially the same sabermetrics-y kind of book. I like that a lot more than Moneyball. But Moneyball's obviously great in the first time it was used. But I'm reading right now a book by Bill Walsh. I can't remember what it's called. It's out of print because they only printed so many copies of it, and it's a book that pretty much every coach has. Every coach, head coach of a team has this book. Because it's Bill Walsh explaining who is the famous head coach of the 49ers with Joe Montana and legendary West Coast offense coach. This fucking football, I know, pop culture podcast. But it's about how he wins, how he builds teams, how he all this kind of all this like coach shit. And it's out of print, and you can't find it except for paying $8 to this one guy who has scanned copies of it on Etsy. Because an actual physical copy of the book runs for $400.
Oh, fuck.
Now, I'm not a coach where I work for LSU or I work for whoever, where my salary is fucking $115,000, whatever the fuck it is, some crazy. I don't make that money, so I'm not going to spend $400 on a fucking 30-year-old paperback. It's all fucked up. So I paid the $8 for this fucking ebook. But I'm reading that, and obviously when Dresden comes out, I can't talk about it on the podcast because you're 13 books away from me.
I know. I'm sorry.
But I will say I will give a general idea if it's good or bad. I'll say that.
Okay. I mean, I imagine it'll probably be good, but yes.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. So you're done with your stuff?
Yeah, that was it. That was the last big thing for me. So.
I had a big list, but I'm narrowing it down. The first thing I watched this past couple weeks, I watched Tangled again.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that.
I've only seen it once before.
Do you like it?
I like it a lot. I think it's a really great Disney movie. Really great movie. I think it's a lot better. I think it's a lot better than Frozen.
Okay.
Excellent!
I think it's funnier. I think the songs are better. I think the character stories are better. I think overall...
That's not hard. I honestly think Frozen's overrated.
Yeah, I think Frozen's really overrated. I saw Frozen in theaters. Yeah. And I just really didn't like it. I haven't seen Frozen 2 yet. But I really liked Tangled a lot. I think the cast is better too. Like Mandy Moore and then Zachary Levi.
Mandy Moore plays the mom, right? Or she plays Rapunzel?
No, she plays Rapunzel.
Okay. She plays the mom. I know I've heard the mom song, and I really like the mom song.
I don't remember her name.
Hold on.
But I like it a lot. It's a great movie. Really great movie. You should watch it.
Donna Murphy. Who the fuck is Donna Murphy? I don't know this person. She was in Star Trek. Fuck. Alright.
Who'd she play in Star Trek?
I don't know. Star Trek Insurrect. Oh, she was in the movie.
In the movie. What? Not even the show.
She plays... Who the fuck is that? Anij? Anij?
I don't know who that is.
Anij?
My Star Trek is not that deep.
I don't know. I'm not a Michael Klasa. I don't know Star Trek like that. So.
But Tangled, I liked it a lot. It's fun. I'm glad to watch it a second time. It was a really fun movie. Yeah. And then like the same day, right after I watched Tangled, I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Fuck, dude, that's a goddamn good movie.
Yeah, and I've only seen it.
Movie.
I think I've only seen it probably.
I think I've watched it about 5 or 6 times. It's great.
Maybe this is my third time seeing it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's so good.
It's one of my It's one of the Robert Zemeckis movies I always forget that he did.
I forgot that he did.
Like it's weird. It's hard for me to think that.
It's strange to think that it's a Zemeckis movie.
Like he did Back to the Future, and then 2 years later or whatever did this. Like that's weird to me. And then 2 years later or whatever did fucking.
Part 2, right?
Well, yeah, part 2 and 3, but then he did
Forrest
Gump.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 years later or 3 years later, fucking did Castaway or whatever the fuck.
Fucking busy bee, dude.
I know it's weird to me that. But while I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is clearly a Zemeckis movie. It's so inspired and it's so great, and obviously everyone fucking loves Roger Rabbit. I liked it. I don't think it's like 10 out of 10, but I like it. It's a great movie. But it's a movie that I would probably watch every couple years, not every year.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it in a couple years, but I mean, every time I watch it, I enjoy it a lot. Because I mean, it goes back to what I said before. It's just, I really enjoy the mystery, hard-boiled detective genre, and I mean, it's essentially what the movie is. I mean, it's couched in crazy cartoon Acme shenanigans, but at the heart of it, it is a detective story.
Oh yeah.
And specifically that hard-boiled edge of like the Humphrey Bogart era.
Yeah. It's so pulpy.
And I fucking love it. It's fantastic.
Well, it's so fucking pulpy, and I forget. I don't know why to put it together. Like, the fact that Christopher Lloyd in it, of course.
Dude, oh my god, movie. He is fucking phenomenal.
Of course, it's a Zemeckis movie. Like, why wouldn't he be in that movie?
Why wouldn't Christopher Lloyd be in a Zemeckis movie?
It's so like weird to me, like watching it as an adult for the for the first time, and seeing how pulpy it is. Where he's like, "I don't work for no fucking tune." And I'm like, "Whoa, shit, okay."
Yeah.
And then there's the pan over shots of his brother and him, and then it cuts to over where it's like, yeah, Toon killed his brother. It's like,
Yeah.
God damn, this is a fucking
God
this
damn.
is straight up a fucking pulp ass novel.
That's the shit. It's like I think it's the thing that gets lost in translation, especially as people get older, is that people forget how actually dark that movie really is. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, the fucking main antagonist gets fucking steamrolled, and then he drops an anvil on the guy's brother, and that's what kills him. And it's like that's fucking terrifying that you get squished by a giant fucking anvil.
Yeah.
So,
But so watch that, and then a couple of sports things. I'm a sports guy. I like sports, and I don't care who knows. It's a Lonely Island song.
This is a big week for sports, man. MLS is back.
I don't care about
NBA
that.
made it back to the Orlando Magic started practicing this week. I mean, that's basically it as far as sports is concerned.
Well, baseball's coming back.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did start practicing. I think last week they started. So
before first off, baseball's coming back, which is all I care about. I don't care about NBA. I used to be a huge basketball fan. I don't really care anymore.
Unfortunately for me, I can't put baseball as much of my show because there's really no baseball team besides Tampa in Florida.
Yeah,
and
Miami.
We have Miami too, but
there's two baseball teams in Florida.
We have the Orlando Magic, so obviously that gets the bigger push from us.
Yeah, the fucking trash team.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of it. Yeah.
So no, but I used to be a huge basketball fan, but then probably like 7-8 years ago, I got really tired of the fact that the game has no parity in it, which people say there is, but there isn't. Basketball is one of the only sports where a single superstar can win the game for their team.
Yeah.
Whereas in baseball,
well, it's like that's why everybody wants to buy LeBron because basically at this point,
well, if you have one player,
if you have super. I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know much about basketball in general because I find it to be the most boring sport of all. I really don't like watching basketball, unless it's. I mean, the only exception, which I make this exception for all sports, is that I like watching sports in person if I'm in the arena.
Sure.
But like as far as on TV, specifically when it's on TV, I find basketball to be extremely boring. I don't like watching it at all. But I remember a lot of people saying specifically the dynamics of the Golden State Warriors was like that era of like this was a team of superstars that was built around trying to make a championship.
Well, it's
so
the
I
same
feel like
thing,
that was like kind of the exception, but
it's the same thing with the Bulls of the '90s, where you have these really great A tier players.
I still need to watch that. I still don't know how I'm gonna watch that because I don't want to buy ESPN Plus.
Get ESPN Plus for free trial.
Oh, that's true. I could do a free trial.
How
long is it?
I think
is it like 7 days?
Maybe 7 days. I don't know.
No, well, I can try.
I
want to watch the Lance Arm. I want to watch that and the Bruce Lee one. So,
Bruce Lee one you can skip. Watch it if you can, but the Lance Armstrong one that's coming out, I'm gonna watch that for sure.
I want to watch the Lance Armstrong one.
For someone like me who is a big sports fanatic, ESPN Plus isn't great. You can't really watch too many live sports on it. You still have to have a TV thing. So you can watch, but you can watch they put UFC fights on there, like old fights that are after a certain time they put the ESPN Plus. You get prelim fights, you get MLS, you get
the majority of it is just for the 30 for 30s.
I mean that's some people. Again, you get a ton of Premier League I believe is on there.
Okay.
I think Formula 1's on there. MLS is on there, I believe. You get
so more of the obscure sports too. Okay.
But the things that are not you're not going to get NFL on ESPN Plus. You're not going to get that. You still have to have your TV membership thing. So I have Sling TV.
Okay.
So I use that to watch live stuff on ESPN on my phone, but also I can just watch it on whatever.
Right.
So, but in terms of 30 for 30s. I love all those, and I rewatch a ton of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, as far as sports stuff is concerned, I usually find the documentary aspect a lot more fascinating than the actual sports themselves a lot of the time.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I've probably seen maybe 80% of the 30 for 30s because there are so much I don't care about. Like I don't care about the soccer stuff.
Yeah, because there was a period. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. I definitely get that for sure. Because there was a period where. I know 30 for 30 was doing podcasts too. I don't know if it was the same stuff that they were putting as far as documentaries.
Separate stuff, yeah.
But I was listening to a bunch of the 30 for 30s, and it get to a point where it was like, A lot of these I don't care about. Like some of them are
You know
interesting,
what?
but it
If
was
you
like,
hold on, if you like 30 for 30s and you like the 30 for 30 podcast, have you listened to Sports Wars?
no, I know my dad has talked about because my dad is I've gotten my dad big into podcasts, so he's been
Yeah.
and he is big into it because now he lives farther away from his work, so he has more drive time. But I know that he started listening to a bunch, and I know he's told me to listen to Sports Wars, and he also listens to he listens to a lot of those Gimlet ones or
Yeah.
what is it?
Yeah.
Because he listens to that. I think he listens to Business Wars too, and there's like another one. But yeah, I know he told me that Sports Wars is really really good.
See, so Sports Wars, it's all the
But that's
stories.
specifically like famous rivalries, right?
It's rivalries, stories, so like there's the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers story.
Yeah.
There's the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Serena and someone, maybe her sister.
Probably her sister.
There's a golf one. So there's different stories. So I
I know the big one is the tennis one, which was what the fuck is his name?
Was it the Federer one or is it the
Federer versus whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah.
I don't remember. The guy who gets angry. I feel like it's that guy.
So it's stuff like that. So I like Sports Wars a lot. But what was I even saying about ESPN?
You were talking about. You were talking about.
Is baseball coming back?
You were talking about
basketball
baseball coming back. We were talking about, no, you were talking about specifically baseball because it was something you read, I think.
Oh, I think I mentioned about basketball. So I stopped watching basketball because of the superstar factor.
Okay, yeah.
It's the only sport in history or on TV currently, and no one can tell me otherwise, where like one player can win the game for a bad team or a quasi good team. That's why no one can stop Michael Jordan. That's why no one can stop LeBron. No one can stop James Harden. No one can stop Steph Curry. So when you add in when the Golden State Warriors have, the entire floor is like S tier shooters or whatever, it becomes boring because 90% of the league doesn't matter. It becomes this. Okay, you're a fan of basketball, yeah? So who do you like? You like the Celtics because the Celtics have this person on them, LA because they have this on them, or the Clippers because they have this person on them, or whatever. But if you like, fucking the Magic, or like for me, I'm a DC guy, so the Wizards, like,
yeah,
you might have an actually good player on that team, but like they're not superstar quality. They're just good. They're A. They're not S. If we're going by Japanese standards,
right?
So I stopped watching for that factor. Also, because the game has become all about shooting, 3-point shooting, not about other stuff.
Yeah, I think that's been a big part of it. For sure, is shooting those field goals. Yeah.
But so
not really about getting it on the paint. You know what I mean?
And I like that. I like the variety of the game. Obviously, players are better now, but whatever. My point being that baseball's coming back. July 23rd, July 24th is opening day, and my World Series champions, the Nats, are playing the Yankees, those shitty ass fucking Yankees, on the 23rd. I'm very excited to get baseball back. It's my favorite sport of all time, and now I get it. People think baseball's boring.
I think I've told you multiple times that I've tried to get into baseball. I'm still trying to. I want to get into it. I feel like this is probably the time to get into it because it's a shorter season.
60 games.
60 games. I feel like it's a lot easier to try to like dip my toe in and try to figure out like if this is something that I'm going to enjoy or not. But also, this is just a different experience from normal baseball, so I don't know.
Here's what it is. I love baseball. I was watching Korean baseball the last month or two. I don't have no connection to fucking KBO or whatever it's called. I just like baseball.
Yeah.
Now, since I'm from DC, I have two teams, right? I watch the Nats because that's my team, my city team. But the Nationals weren't a team when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I grew up going to Orioles games.
Okay.
So I watched the O's, and the O's are literally the worst team in the Major League Baseball. So 60 games. Some players who are the stars are opting out. Like the number one player in baseball is not playing this season.
Right.
Because he's having a baby. So he doesn't want to play because
the C virus.
Because he's C virus.
Yeah.
But in terms of like determining if you like baseball or want to watch baseball, like find one podcast. I'll give you an example of one. Talking Baseball by John Boy Media. It's great. They're like Bros or Starting Nine from Barstool, which is a great base. These are fun baseball podcasts
Okay.
that aren't going to give you too many sabermetrics, but they still know sabermetrics. You know,
Okay.
there's a podcast I love called Effectively Wild, which is a daily
Okay.
baseball podcast, which is straight up only stats. So it's like
Interesting.
if you don't like baseball enough to listen to fucking all these stats and shit, it's gonna fucking bore the fuck out of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing that, specifically a sports podcast, I think that was the thing that kind of burned me out from them is, I think the big thing is that I was like trying to do like Pardon My Take, and that's really like more of a general sports in
Oh my
general.
gosh.
I
Well,
feel like I've
also,
got to like,
also, if you're listening to only Part of My Take,
yeah.
Part of My Take is in my mandatory daily, no, or every 3 times a week. It's in my mandatory lineup.
Mm.
But I also have like, hold on, I also have a huge list of traditional. I'm not sure if you can even see that.
I can see.
I have a huge list of traditional sports talk that I listen to every single day.
Okay.
I'm like doing like 10 hours a day
Jesus.
of fucking sports shit, right? But Dan Lebitard and Part of My Take are the anti-sports show. They're all satirical.
Yeah.
They don't take themselves seriously. And those are the bookenders for me. Like, I can go through my typical debate talk show bullshit about sports that ultimately, like, oh my gosh, Pat Mahomes got a 10-year contract for $450 million.
Dude, that contract is fucking insane.
Now, again, I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. And I just said I'm a DC sports. I'm a DC kid. So why am I a Chiefs fan? I'll tell you why. Because my family's from Missouri and I don't support the Redskins anymore. Because not this season, but I haven't supported them for a long time.
Right.
Because the owner came out and said the fans suck. So fuck that guy.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy.
But my point is this: if you want to watch baseball, pick a team. Who gives a shit what team? Just don't pick the Yankees.
What about the Chicago Cubs?
You want to be a Cubs fan?
I could be a Cubby.
What's the closest? There's no team in Indiana.
No, well, that was my thing. Was that I feel like the Chicago Cubbies was the closest thing to Indiana for me.
Hold on, let's Google it.
Because in Indiana, all we have is minor leagues.
Yeah. Well, hold on. What's the team? What city are you? Is there a minor league team in your city where you're from?
Yeah, they were the Washington Wizards. I think now they're the Appleseeds.
It's Appleseeds
because of Johnny Appleseed.
Okay, hold on. Appleseeds, Fort Wayne Tin Caps.
Tin Caps, that's what it is. Okay, yeah.
Hold on. They are the Padres.
Padres?
Affiliate, yeah.
Okay.
So you have multiple different ways to go about this. You can go, okay, who's my local team? Who's they affiliated with? Example for you, that'd be the Padres.
Okay.
Or you can go by distance from where you're from. So you're looking at like fucking, I don't know, so it's the Cubs or the White Sox or fucking I'm not sure how far away. I don't know the Midwest at all. How close is hold on, let me pull up the map.
Is there anything in Ohio?
Oh yeah.
Is that the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, the Indians and you have the Reds.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on the Missouri side, which I think Indiana is like 2 states away from Missouri.
I think so.
So that's not close enough, but
It's probably either between Cincinnati or Cleveland or Chicago. Because Indiana is smack dab in the middle between Ohio and Illinois. So.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, pull up the map. This is probably the most not pop culture podcast section, so everyone can suck it.
That's fine.
Here's the map. Okay. Indiana, right there. So yeah, like I said, your options really would be any of the Illinois teams or any of the Ohio teams. So you have 2 on 2. You have 2 on both sides.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you're based in Florida.
Yeah, that's true. So I can go for the Rays.
Two of the Florida teams, and the Rays, they're a pretty good team.
They are? Okay.
They're a pretty good team. They have a really cool Korean guy on their team.
Okay.
Or just fucking pick a team you like. What does your dad support?
I
Does he
don't
watch
think
baseball?
my dad's not a huge baseball fan. He just likes watching baseball.
Okay.
I don't know if he has a specific team. I'd have to actually like talk to him and sit down with him. The last time I tried to talk to him, because I think I told him I was trying to get into baseball, and he basically The only sports my dad like really cares about is football and
He's a Colts guy.
he's really football. He's Colts and he's Dallas because and he cares about football and college football because he's a Notre Dame fan first and foremost, more so than anything else. He's Notre Dame college football, and then he's a Colts fan because of Indiana, and then Dallas Cowboys because when he grew up, that was really you could only watch Dallas Cowboys games, so he was a Dallas Cowboys fan because that was big three. Back in the day, you didn't get to watch every single football game, and so Dallas Cowboys was always on every channel. So he was a Dallas Cowboys fan. So I would say he's more of a Cowboys fan than the Colts fan. So,
well, if you were gonna watch the NFL and you're gonna be a Colts fan, well,
yeah,
rough.
It's a rough time to be a Colts fan for sure.
Rough, but baseball wise, yeah, you're like, hey, what's the family tradition if there is one?
I don't think there is because I definitely talked about I was thinking about joining the Cubs. He was like, "Hey man, do whatever you want."
Well, it's like my dad, who's a huge sports nut.
Yeah.
He stopped watching baseball in the '90s. He stopped giving a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my dad watches it like he watches every single game. It's more like he watches games when they're on. If he's got nothing else to do, and then he watches. I mean, he watches Sports Center and he watches Mike and Mike. That's his big thing, and so that's. As far as baseball content, I think that's the majority of where he gets it from. It's just staying up to date with what's going on in baseball, but I don't think he actually I don't think he has a specific diehard team that he follows.
It's funny. My dad goes, baseball is too boring now, but he'll watch golf, and I'm like, what are you talking
I feel like
about?
Golf is even more boring.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But even my dad, who's from Missouri, he never picked a huge pro team. He's a Mizzou guy.
Yeah.
Because of Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And when he turned in terms of pro ball, he was closer. He's always been a Chiefs guy because Missouri. Right. And then when the Rams got there, technically they were closer to the Rams. But at that point, he was already gone, I believe, from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So he just watches whoever. When we lived in D.C., which is where I'm from, he watched the Skins because the Skins stadium was down the road from where we lived, a mile down the road. So pretty much on Sundays, he's like, "Yeah, we're not going anywhere," because the entire main avenue is backed the fuck up.
Right.
So to wrap up my sports talk for now, because literally my next few things on my list are sports talk. Sorry. I'm excited for baseball. It's my favorite sport. My team won last year. I'm excited to see them play again, even though we lost a couple of our key helpers that helped win last season. It's fine, whatever. And I love baseball. It's the best sport of all time. Right below that's football, but football's easier to watch as a casual fan.
The football is definitely easier to watch for sure. Yeah.
Football's easier to watch. Guy gets ball. Runs, misses ball, crosses the line.
I think the biggest thing about football for me as a casual fan, because I really am not a huge sports guy. I mean, I like sports, but I'm not somebody who watches ESPN every day and is getting down I don't have your list of podcasts. But I think the thing for football that makes it easier for me is that there's it's very easy to see the line of action of what's going on and who's doing what and what exactly the strategy is going to be for each team.
But also, it's baseball.
I feel like baseball's a lot more harder for me to figure out exactly what each team is trying to accomplish with decisions that they're trying to make.
But also, baseball's just a slow sport.
Yeah.
It's a slow sport, and you can watch a quarterback go for play action and toss the ball. And go, okay, well, it was a bad throw, it was a good throw, whatever.
You're not going to see a pitcher go out and try to fucking take the bat.
But in baseball, the announcer will say, oh, that was a change-up or a corkscrew or whatever. But, unless you know what that means, you're just like, okay, the ball did this. You can't, unless you know the difference.
Well, sometimes they throw the ball so fast, I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Right, and you're really only looking for, a home run. You're like, oh, home run, cool, awesome. Yeah. You know that. That's the thing you all know. You see a base hit and you're like, oh, well, that sucked. No, it didn't actually suck. That was actually a good hit. I was like, he's setting up for the fucking cleanup or whatever. So leading into the next thing I watched, as we're 20 minutes into more sports talk, sorry. A documentary I watched about baseball.
Okay.
It came out a couple years ago, but it was only in Japan. It's about Japanese baseball, Japanese high
Okay.
school baseball. It's called Koshin Japan's Field of Dreams, and
Hmm.
it's not an ESPN documentary, but ESPN aired it like last week.
Okay.
So that they only aired it once, and it was on the app, so I was able to watch it. Um,
Okay.
and it's about high school baseball in Japan, where every like prefecture in Japan has a bunch of baseball teams, and they're all competing concurrently to get into one tournament.
Okay.
Now, now, I love baseball manga.
Baseball
This is
is
this is
good.
this is legitimate. This is real life baseball manga.
Some baseball. I tell you what, dude. Manga and anime has done a lot for me for appreciating
Oh
sports.
yeah, dude. Literally,
Yeah.
I started watching basketball, which is the first sport I started watching. I really started really caring about, purely based on Slam Dunk.
Yeah.
Purely based on Slam Dunk because of why I started watching basketball.
Yeah.
But this documentary is really good. It follows two coaches in their high school teams. I can't tell you the second fucking cities.
Yeah.
I don't remember because they're Japanese names, but I can tell you the story. It's
Okay.
two coaches. One's an older gentleman, probably like maybe late 50s, and he has been a coach for like 30 years. And
Mm.
the tournament's called Koshin. This is every team is trying to get to Koshin, and the way they describe it is that this tournament, this high school tournament, is bigger than the Pro Bowl in Japan, and it's the equivalent of like the Super Bowl and the World Series combined.
Damn. All
Like
right.
millions of people watch it. The stands are packed full of people. It's on TV everywhere
Okay.
across all Japan when it's happening. It takes place like 7 days or something like that, right? So it's
Damn.
literally a fucking tournament arc of a fucking
Mm.
manga series.
I love it.
So the story is this: you have the elder coachman who's been doing it for 30 years, has only got to Koshin once in 30
Damn.
years. His his student coach leaves him as a student, like as a coaching staff member, goes to another school, becomes a head coach at this other high school, has
Mm.
been to Koshin 9 times. And now it
Jesus.
follows both of them and both of their teams, and they're two different styles of coaching. One's a very traditional Japanese harsh style of coaching. The other guy is a much more evolved style, talks to his guys, is more calm. And
Okay.
at one point in the documentary, the elder coachman guy, his
Mm.
son's going to high school, and he says, "Okay, I have options here. I can coach him myself, but instead he calls up his student, hey, would you please coach my son?" So
Mm.
the elder coachman sends his son to his student's school to learn baseball, to
Okay.
whatever. So it's about them going to Koshin and battling it out and training and all this stuff, and it's really fucking good. Like
Okay.
you don't even have to like baseball because they don't talk about types of swings or types of throws. They talk about it's a human story about a coach who's 30 some years in the game and
Mm.
his younger trainee who's more successful than him and is like the new breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
There's an example in the movie where there's a tradition in high school students apparently in Japan for baseball that you shave your head. Everyone
Yeah.
has shaves head in baseball because you want to become like all the same. Well, this new age coach is like, you know what? Fuck that. Do whatever you want now. Do whatever you want.
Mm.
You want to grow long hair? Grow long hair out. And the
Interesting.
kids are like, "Are you gonna do it? I don't know if we're gonna do it. I don't know." You know what I mean? Like so stuff like that. It's really great,
Interesting.
really great documentary. I really liked it. And then another baseball documentary, real quick. I know this is 45 minutes of baseball. This is a 30 for 30. It's called Long Gone Summer,
Okay.
which is about the home run record-breaking battle between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire in the
Okay.
late 90s as they're trying to break the world record for home runs in a single season. And it's really great. They interview both people, Sammy, and they interview Mark McGwire, who I loved as a kid. Ultimately, both of them got caught with
I was about to say they both tested positive for
yeah,
steroids,
tested
right?
positive for steroids. So that comes into it later. It's a really great documentary. It's really fun about home runs. So it's like, I mean,
The most exciting part of baseball.
there's no like boring part of the documentary. Just they're just banging them out, just banging them. So it's really good. Lastly, on complete opposite spectrum about stuff,
Okay.
Netflix just got this past week. Like a first season or collection of a '90s show. It was old originally in the '60s, I believe, but it came out in the '90s again, called Supermarket Sweep.
Never heard of it.
It aired from like '93 to like '98 or something, and then the reruns.
Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah, it's a straight up '90s as fuck show. And I remember I loved it as a kid because they reran it in like '98 and '99. They would always rerun it, so I watched a ton of it as a kid. And the premise is 3 teams of 2 people answer trivia about food and stuff, and then you go through a supermarket and you have to like grab items and shit, and it's different layers of competition. And the last round is you have to go and try to make the most money in your cart.
Interesting.
Of items. It's on Netflix, and it's literally like
almost like a guy's grocery game, but without the fact that you have to make food.
And to me, it's such a nostalgia trip, dude. Like, it makes me want to like. It makes me wish that someone would get Double Dare, someone would get Double Dare 2000, or get Guts, or get Legends of the Hidden Temple,
Guts,
or get all these shows I loved as a kid and put them on these networks so I can watch. Because this show is like. At first, I was watching with my girlfriend, and she was like, I've never seen this show before, because she's younger than me. She's like, I've never seen this show before. I want to watch it. And in the middle of the first episode, she's like, we're going to watch another one. Because it's so fucking... It's 22 minutes of pure 90s. Like, it makes me feel so fucking nostalgic, dude. The music, the fucking 4x3, the clothing. It's amazing. It's purely amazing. It's a fun show. So
I feel you, dude.
That's the last thing I was watching.
I want Guts, dude.
I want Guts, or I want Double Dare 2000, or Figure It Out would be good.
Ooh, Figure It Out would be good. I mean, Legends of the Hidden Temple obviously would be.
Yeah, I would love Legends of the Hidden Temple, man.
That'd be good. Yeah, no, for sure, dude.
All right, sorry, that was a lot of sports talk, guys.
Dude. Yeah,
I apologize.
Is this true?
We got, what
true.
was it? A good hefty minute and 15 or hour and 15 hour and 15 of some good solid pop culture talk. And I don't care what you say, sports is pop culture, dude. It's in there. It's in the zeitgeist.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you want to hit news?
Honestly, there's like 2 things that I cared about in news.
Okay.
I would honestly rather hit the topic.
Okay.
Because we're in the thick of it right now.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm just going to run through a couple things real fast in terms of top news stuff. First thing I want to mention for news, hold on, let me play a segment sound right here.
Dylan.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a...
Okay. News-wise, Chris Hemsworth came out in an interview
and
said he has to get bigger and bigger and bigger for his Hulk Hogan Hulkster biopic.
Dude, I want to see some fucking 36-inch pythons, you know what I'm saying?
There's nothing more I want. I was reading this article I think it's from IGN.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who the original interview was with. I was reading this article, and it's a quick bit. He's like, I have to get big. I have to get bigger than I had to get bigger than I got for Thor. That's what he was saying. And I was reading the quote in the article, and something inside of me like changed, or like something happened where I was reading this article, and I was like, I got so hopeful for the idea of seeing a professional wrestling biopic in theater. And I was like, I'm gonna see a fucking Hulk Hogan biopic.
I mean, technically we already had one.
That was in theater. I didn't see it.
You didn't see Fighting in the Family?
No.
That was in theaters.
I
really don't know her at all. I don't know anything about her character. It didn't look that interesting to me.
All I know is that I know
the only big push for it was the fact that The Rock was in it, and I was like, The Rock is not going to make me watch a biopic.
Well, he produced it. His studio made it. I seen her wrestle.
I know
he
produced it because he's like related to her, right?
I don't think so.
I thought he was, or I guess it was just. So. I thought he was related to. Maybe he's not. I don't know.
I've seen it. Obviously, they made a movie because she got injured and can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
And she was a huge star, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I know her more from her porn.
Was she in porn?
No, she didn't do porn, but some vids got leaked, and it was a big deal. But I haven't seen that, and I'm not going to watch it because I don't care. But like, this is like a wrestler who was like legendary.
Legendary wrestler. Dude, if this goes well, we could see a fucking Undertaker. I honestly want to see. I mean, it probably wouldn't happen because I don't know how interesting. I want to see the Ultimate Warrior, dude. That's my favorite wrestler of all time. I want to see a movie on him. I don't
I
care if
don't
it's like a
think
documentary or what, but god
I
damn it,
don't think that
I love
people
the
would.
Ultimate
I don't
Warrior.
think they would do him because he had a lot of like racist stuff go
Yeah.
on in his life. Also, I think like if we're gonna do someone like that in terms of like a painted character, they're gonna do Sting first,
Yeah, they're definitely gonna do Sting.
and like Sting would be really good. Like that'd be a really great biopic. Like we mentioned before when we first talked about this biopic happening, who we would want to see, and like my top guys are Hulk Hogan, Sting,
Yeah.
fucking Ric Flair. Oh
Ric
my
Flair would be a really
god.
good one. Honestly, I mean, I mean, the only problem with it is that his career's not over yet. But I think Triple H's could be an interesting biopic. Shawn Michaels obviously would
Here's
be
the thing.
great.
I want to pause you on Triple H. I don't need to see a Triple H biopic because I already have Max's video,
But
and
that's what I was
that's
thinking
good
of.
enough.
But I
That's
would
good
see
enough.
that.
But
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels would be good.
Shawn Michaels would be fantastic. Ric Flair would be really, really great. I would love to see. Trying to think of some older wrestlers that I would like to see. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones out
Depends
there.
on how big you want to go. If you want to go for the top stars, Ricky Steamboat, obviously
Yeah,
Sting, Ric Flair, you can go for those guys. Hulk,
yeah,
obviously is happening, and, and you don't want to go too recent, but like
yeah. I
that
don't
the
like. You don't want to go John Cena or nothing like that.
no, but the Hulk era, the Ric Flair
Honestly,
era is good.
I would probably want an Edge one. Edge would
But
be
he's still working though.
only recently. He wasn't working for a long ass time.
He was still
He,
working, and he's like 40 something.
he only came back in the last year, I think. I know he had.
Here's the thing.
They gave him a big push at
and,
WrestleMania and Backlash.
and here's the thing. I know all about Edge's career because I listened to the podcast where he talks about it to Chris Jericho. If we're gonna do a
Chris
biopic,
Jericho would be great.
it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Because I've read all his books that they literally explain his whole career, and they're because here's the thing. Edge and Christian worked for a couple indies and then went right to WWF.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho spent 10 years before he got to WWF, working in Mexico and Canada and Japan, WCW, and then debuted as Y2J. That could be the whole
Y2J,
fucking,
baby.
Literally his first book. Okay, I don't want to mention this too long about professional wrestling. I apologize. His first book is so good, and I think you would love it, Zach, if you read it. It's called The Lion's Tale or Lion Dream or something like that. But it's about him from youth up until right before he debuts at WWF. So the whole first book is him, like his whole training, him going to Japan, Mexico, and all these people he meets, and meeting Eddie Guerrero, all this stuff. Him at WCW, and the final page of the book is him walking out of the curtain to talk to The Rock in a promo at his debut, and then the book ends.
God damn it.
That would be the best way to end a movie.
That
Like,
would be
not
really
even
good.
not even give you the audience like what you want to see, which is him as like the WWF superstar. Like you're gonna get the fucking young buck, So that would be awesome. And he's still working too, but he's done so much in his career.
His career is fucking expansive.
Like there's no one else working right now.
I mean, even just his WWE career has been like so varied and long lasting. I mean, he started WWE in like the fucking 90s, and then he went all the way up until I feel like he was in the WWE until 2016, 2017, 2018 maybe, and then he went to AEW.
He took a couple year break in between there. He would, as he would tour with his band, he would take breaks. But Hulk Hogan's a great start for a biopic. And I think he's the only wrestler besides Ric Flair, really, that the zeitgeist of common knowledge knows enough to give a shit about. Like, if they did a Ricky Steamboat movie,
nobody knows who Ricky Steamboat is.
Like, wrestling fans know who that is, but not the common...
Not the general audience.
Or people like our dad's age would know who that is.
Yeah.
Like, I know Ricky, duh, the Dragon, I got it. But, people if you're not a wrestling mark, me, or like you, then you wouldn't give a shit about Ricky Steamboat movie. But Chris Jericho would be great. But Chris
Jericho would be super rad. the Ready Player 2 is getting a fucking novel, dude.
Oh yeah. So,
Sequel novel.
Ready Player 2 was announced years ago.
Yeah.
He announced years ago that Ernest Cline was going to do the sequel book.
I
And
feel like
remember
we did this in our podcast. Like he talked about this.
we might have. I know he mentioned this years ago he was going to do it, but he's so infrequent with. He's only written 3 books, or 2 books, and this is his 3rd book. And he's so infrequent.
Is there a synopsis for this book yet?
No, there is not yet.
Yeah.
I looked for it.
Yeah.
And it really pisses me off because I want to know what's happening.
Yeah, I want to know what the sequel is actually going to be about because I feel like the first one wrapped up so nicely. I don't know where you would even go from there.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And I mean, you can do so much stuff, but I know a lot of people thought that his second novel, Armada, was infinitely less good than Ready Player One.
I haven't read that one yet. I know you read that, right?
I loved Armada. I mean, it's definitely not. It's the same kind of novel, as Ready Player One. 80s laced, 90s laced, 70s laced. No, nostalgia. But it's essentially the story of Last Starfighter.
Right.
Which is, I'm not sure if you've ever seen Last Starfighter. Which is, guy plays video game a lot, and in reality is actually a real thing. Like the game was a fucking test for real space combat.
Yeah.
So it's fun and it's cool. It's interesting. You can tell it's Ernest Cline. So I think people are gonna really, because they really bagged on Armada because it was not Ready Player One. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Ready Player 2. I'm gonna read it the moment it comes out, and thankfully it's in November.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely gonna read it
soon
when it comes
enough.
out for sure. Yeah. I'm excited for that.
Seth Rogen is producing a new CG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Am I wrong to say that I just want the fucking Jim Henson Turtles back? I want a movie with Jim Henson Turtles. I love those costumes so much.
Look,
I don't want
a
TMNT movie. I love TMNT, but I don't want this.
Yeah, I love the Turtles. I would have every figure from NECA and Super 7 if they were not hard to get.
Yeah.
I read the comic. I think the comic book's ending soon too. Actually,
it probably is. It's been going on for about 3.
Well, I think IDW canceled it.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's been going for I feel like 5 or 6 years at this point. That's a long time.
It's been going for 9 years. 9 or 8 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's issue 107 plus. But I don't care. I mean, I'll watch it obviously, but between the bum out that was Rise of the Ninja Turtles, I thought that show really sucked. The art design was bad. It was a show that they made when they.
I'm looking at the art design right now.
Yeah, when they canceled TMNT 2012, which I thought was really great. They canceled that to have this show, and it was like, why would you cancel a good show with good style and characters for a shitty show? It didn't make any sense except to make more toys.
Right.
Which is probably what it was. It's always been about that, which I get, but I don't care. Did you watch any of the Assassin's Creed Valhalla leak?
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched, just snippets here or there. I kind of skimmed through it. I didn't really watch the whole thing. Honestly, I'm disappointed. It just looks a lot like Origins and Odyssey.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to kind of do something different, and it doesn't really look like they are, and that's kind of disappointing.
It looks the exact same.
Yeah.
Looks the exact same. And I skimmed through it too. I didn't watch the full 30 minutes that were leaked, but
yeah,
it looks the exact same, and to me, that's a bummer because you had enough time to make it look really different.
I mean, yeah, it's been 2 years since what is it? Odyssey. So, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna take, well, I mean, it was the same problem because I think it was 2 years between Origins and Odyssey, and it was the same shit where it was like Odyssey's basically the same game, and I just feel like if you're gonna take that time off, and you're gonna, not release a game, if you're not gonna do the Call of Duty format and do year to year, and you're gonna take time off and try to really polish it and make sure that it's a good game, I feel like you should try to do something that's, inventive and different.
Oh yeah.
And they're really
Like
not.
even some
But
of the
that's just
even some of
Ubisoft
the
in general.
like even some of the animations look like the Spartan kicks in there. Like all the stuff looks the same, and like that was the whole point of view of them taking years off to work on Origins because the game was getting stale. So
Yeah.
to do the same thing again is like you're just putting yourself back in the same position
You're putting
to
yourself.
fail.
You're gonna put yourself in the same position where you were at when Unity and City came out, where it's just
Right.
like everybody's like these games are too formulaic, they're not good, they're too buggy, and everybody's gonna lose faith in the series again. Then they're gonna have to make. I mean, I feel like that's the rut that they're just in. That they just keep putting out the same shit, and then until people are tired of it,
Yeah.
and then they reinvent their wheel.
Exactly.
But at that point, it's like, I mean, that was the thing that took me so long to play Origins, because by the time they reinvented the wheel, I was so burned out by the series being so formulaic and generic that I was just like, I wasn't interested in playing Assassin's Creed anymore.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, we can call the news on that.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and finish up the episode with our topic of the week.
Big week, because this is the start of the summer 2020 anime season. A lot of shit coming out. A lot of stuff that got delayed is coming out this season. A lot of stuff on my list was stuff that was delayed, that was supposed to come out in spring, that is now coming out in summer. How about you start first, Jason? Tell me let's go from the bottom and work our way up.
Okay. So I had a problem with this, only in the sense because I don't know what was delayed or what wasn't delayed, because I'm not up to date with anime stuff, you know what I mean? So
a lot of the season 2 stuff was stuff that was delayed.
So when I was looking purely at summer 2020, it was a ton of season 2s.
Yeah, a lot of the season 2s were actually supposed to be in the spring, and they got delayed.
So a lot of that stuff to me was very much irrelevant, because like Fire Force season 2, like okay, I like part of 1, I didn't finish it, but okay. Yeah. So a lot of stuff to me in this season. Now, obviously, I'm not a huge anime fan anymore. I don't watch a ton of anime. It's really like once a year I kind of go into like a series or two binge once a year or twice a year, and I watch a ton of stuff for those first few weeks or whatever. So for me, from looking at the list for this season, it really comes down to the number 3 thing being, I think on my list I have it as, what is this, Gibeite?
Gibeite, yeah.
And like, I didn't watch a trailer. I'm purely basing it off of my anime list,
the
summary of it. And here's the thing, dude. I'm not even that into it. Like, it seems cool and I'm into it, but I've seen so many of these anime I never watched them, but I've seen so many of these summaries where it's like
it's a very similar type, yeah.
And like, it's just the fact that there's not enough other stuff to me that looks interesting. But this is on there, I'll check it out. Is Gibeite. But I'm not like dying to watch it, if that makes sense. So what about you?
That was also the bottom of my list, was Gibeite. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's oddly relevant dealing with the situation that it's in. We got virus turning people into other stuff. So that was kind of weird to have that kind of parallel coming out. But, it looks interesting. I like the art style a lot. It's got that sort of, especially I watched a little bit of the trailer. It's got that sort of, it's not what it is, but I feel like it's a very much like a Street Fighter 4 aesthetic, where there's very much like the ink outline, and it focuses very much on like specific, like, especially the action scenes of like using effects to emphasize the action and the movement that's going on.
Right.
So that seemed interesting to me. So that was my number 5.
Okay. I didn't add it to my list on the document, but my next thing was this Ninja Collection.
I actually didn't see that.
Did you see Ninja Collection? The trailer on Crunchyroll I watched. And it's like a modern day like ninja story, I guess. They don't explain too much in the trailer, but the actual synopsis says, set in modern day Tokyo where dreams and desires are afloat, a group of ninjas called Tokushu is set to stop the spread of darkness. It sounds pretty generic as shit, but the idea, like, I've seen so many like ninjas in modern day stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I like ninjas.
Yeah,
I like
ninjas,
modern day stuff. I'm okay. I'll
urban
check it
ninjas are
out.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel you.
and I haven't seen any actual animation of it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I've just seen like the stupid like announcement trailer. But
Yeah.
that's the next on my. It premieres July 12th is what my anime list says. So
Okay.
that's my next. I only have like 3 or 4 on my list.
Yeah.
Or else I would be.
My
Else I'd be. I would be forcing it if I had more than that.
You're good. So my 4 was Decadence. It seemed
Oh yeah,
interesting to
yeah.
me. I liked the premise a lot. It seems something that's. I feel like it's something that could be. I haven't watched a trailer for it, so I'm only doing this based off the summary. But the premise is interesting to me because it's very. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic in the far future. The interesting premise of like. Basically, an alien life form that wipes out humanity. Humans are trying to survive, and then eventually, certain people come into attacks. They find a way to be able to fight back, and so it's basically about them trying to form this revolution against this alien form that's trying to destroy humanity.
Yeah, that's also on my. Was my next one
Mm-hmm.
because the summary almost kind of gave me this like Attack on Titan vibe with the way it
Mm-hmm.
looked. Like they're
Mm.
like swinging on some shit. I'm like, okay, that looks like
Yeah.
Attack on Titan. And
Yeah, I looked. I mean, I didn't watch the trailer, but I mean, even from the stills, it looked very much like high rise, like very much like a lot of wire work and heavy movement up in the high altitudes and stuff like that.
and honestly, I was watching the trailer and it reminded me of another manga. I think it was becoming anime, but I don't know for sure. Was there an anime recently about like these like dragon hunters?
Um,
Like there's like these like steam powered ships and then these people like drifting dragons.
Drifting
Did
Dragons.
that ever come
I know
out?
there was an. I don't remember. I know there was Dragon Prince on Netflix, but that's not it.
Drifting Dragons
I don't
is
think that ever came
is a
out.
manga. Um, Anime is supposed to come out. Premiere. Oh, it came out already. Premiered January 9th to March. And it came out on Netflix.
Oh, it
Um,
is on Netflix. It must have just added recently.
so
No,
I
I didn't see this one.
this reminded me Decadence reminded me not in any way of like the story, but in
Mm-hmm.
like where there's like they're high up in the air or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this Drifting Dragons thing, I read the first couple chapters a while back and I thought it was really cool, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to watch the anime, but it's like it reminded me of like Monster Hunter. Um,
Interesting.
like there's people are hunting dragons to like for food and for stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed really sweet. So I'm gonna check it out, but I don't know if the anime is CG or not. Oh, it looks
Okay.
CG. Ugh, God, because the art was so good in the manga.
Okay.
But my number
Yeah.
that's my next one is Decadence as well.
Okay. So then mine one after that was the second season because I talked about this I think 2 seasons ago, which was No Guns, No Life. That second season is
Right,
coming out
right.
this summer. The first episode actually premiered, I think, yesterday or something like that, so I watched it today. More of the shit I fucking love. Dude with a fucking giant gun on his head. Hard-boiled detective shit. That cyberpunk, Ghost in the Shell technology mixed with, rundown modern society type of thing going on. I dig it. Can't wait to see more of this world. I really like the
Is there a lot of
characters.
fighting in it?
Um, I would say no. There's not a lot. There's fighting in it, but I would definitely say it's not. I would say it leads more towards the hard-boiled side than the actual like action side.
Okay. Because I still haven't seen it yet, but I think the art looks really cool.
The art is
Like
super rad.
I started watching Dora a
Hmm.
few weeks ago,
Yeah, I love that series. That was really
and
really
I
good.
watched the first few episodes, but then I went down a rabbit hole and I was like looking at like spoilers for myself,
Hmm.
and I read what happens in it, and I was like, yeah, this sounds confusing. So
It's kind of
I
confusing.
stopped watching. Um,
The world building in that show is very confusing.
but my next one is also my last one, which is probably your
Mm.
number one.
It's close.
It's close. There's something above this.
There is
What the fuck's above it? I'm
uh,
not even gonna look at it. So
suffering the anime.
my number
Season
one
2 is coming out.
is God of High School.
Got a high school, dude.
which I
Fuck.
watched as well.
Yes. So you watched the premiere.
I watched it.
What a solid fucking premiere.
Um,
That GIF. Hold on. Have you? So that GIF is my favorite GIF of the entire show, which is the girl doing the fucking stunner. That GIF.
Yeah.
Is so fucking.
So
tight.
real
Love
quick,
that shit.
I'm gonna mention this about God High School. I mentioned this last week, I think, last episode. I have no history with manhwa. I actually have gripes with manhwa.
Yes.
I've always seen God High School being on the websites of Scanlation websites that I used to read stuff on, so I know the name.
Mm-hmm.
I think the art style in this anime is really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be, and forgive my ignorance to manhwa fans, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought that this was going to be Ippo. I thought it was going to be Ippo. I thought it was going to be, Baki. I thought it was going to be something like that. So I start watching the first episode, and then the guy is riding his bike.
Yeah.
And then he jumps off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, it's
I,
hyper realistic.
Well, then I went, you know what? So he jumps off the cliff, and I went, oh, it's this kind of show. And then I'm still in it. I'm actually more into it now than I was thinking it was going to be like Baki or something.
Dude, if you thought that like that was like, I tell you what, dude, there's some shit, because I haven't finished it, but I was a good bit. I was probably about 200 chapters into the manhwa when I stopped, because I stopped keeping up with it when there was a period when I just like dropped off of manga and anime like altogether. But I was like probably 200 chapters in. I tell you what, dude, they probably won't get into it in this first season, but this show goes into some serious JoJo shit. Well, I'm talking about like there are characters that have literal stands in this fucking show.
So I'm watching the first episode, and I really enjoyed the first episode for what showed in it. Animation was great. The character designs were really cool.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this tournament exists.
They get into that. It's something they get into a little bit more later.
Something about how it exists. If you win it, you get a wish or something.
It's very similar to Tower of God. I don't know what it is, but I think a lot of the popular manhwa have that same thing where it's like the whole journey of it is like, I don't know what it is, but something, maybe it's something about Korea or something like that, but something about it is always they're like the journey is like to get some sort of like whatever wish you want could be granted. Right. Because Tower of God has the same shit where it's like Tower of God, you climb to the top of the tower, you get any wish you wanted. So, God of High School is you win the tournament, you get any wish you want granted.
There's multiple main characters, or he's the main character. What's his name again? Mori?
So Jin Mori is the main character. Okay. The main character is that group that you see. It is Jin. It's the sword chick, and it is my favorite character, which is I think his name is Han. He does full contact karate. Fuck, dude, he's like my favorite character in the whole series.
We're gonna stop there real quick.
Okay.
I liked the animation. I liked the characters so far. They're very generic characters, but I like them for what they are. Like they're kind of shonen-y characters.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the art style. I like the concept. It's a very basic concept. We're gonna fight, and I'm all about that, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be over the top. I get it. I'm down. What I don't like already, it's not a big gripe to me, is that I know that if I like these characters, they're gonna have to fight at some point. They can't not fight at some point. This is a tournament.
Well,
right? Unless they lose.
Well, no. The thing about it is the thing about this tournament is that it's actually not. I mean, technically this is a spoiler, but it's probably going to be done in like the next 2 episodes anyways. But it's actually not a singles tournament. The whole thing is based around a team tournament. So you're actually put into teams of 3.
Okay.
And so that's
it's going to be Mori, the stockbroker, the stalker guy, the stock boy, the convenience store clerk, and then it's the girl.
Yeah, and the girl. And they're the team. They're the main team.
So real quick, spoil again for me. How do they show other characters in this thing that are clearly going to be focused on? Mm-hmm. So they get like 2 different teams from this preliminary fight, or 3 different teams, or something, or what?
I think it ends up going down to, honestly, I don't remember this battle royale part. I think this might be like specific to the anime.
Because there's the wrestling girl,
but
there's the boy with the bat, there's the fucking Fei Long. Not Fei
Yeah.
Long. Not Fei Long. What's his name? From the twins from Street Fighter.
Yun, yeah.
Yun and Yang.
Yun and Yang,
Clearly
yeah.
Yun and Yang. Like
Yeah.
clearly.
You've got the wrestler girl who does the fucking stunner. Yeah, I think well the thing about it is I don't remember this battle royale part, but I mean the part that I remember from the tournament is that you have teams of 3, and then your team is basically it's Yu Yu Hakusho, that tournament basically, where it's like each team has one person that comes out to represent that team in one match at a time, and then best 2 out of 3, that team moves on to the next round.
So again, I liked what I saw. I think there wasn't enough. There was too much of the shit that I didn't care about in the first half. The first half of the episode is this bike thing.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I get that it's supposed
true.
to be like how they meet together and all. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I want a little bit of that, more of the fighting part. So I finished the episode. Went, okay, I want more. I want to know more. So I went to fucking for the first time in my goddamn life. Well, except for when we were looking at manga on the podcast. I went to webtoon.com, or whatever the fuck it's called, and went to the most recent chapter of God of High School. And it was a fucking, like, devil. Like, they were fighting a devil or something, and I was like...
Yeah, dude.
I was like, what the fuck is this show?
It goes pretty fucking insane.
So the girl is a samurai.
Yeah.
Kendo or something.
She's a kendo, and yeah, her whole reason for entering the tournament is she wants the generic thing. She wants to progress her sword school styles by showing it off in this tournament because her father taught it to her.
And the other guy is a karate guy, you said.
Full contact karate. Yeah.
So is he like gonna be the bad boy? Like he has a bad past?
I would say he has more of a tragic past than a bad past.
Tragic hero. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, tragic hero.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously main character guy, some of his grandpa leaves him or something like that.
Yeah, his grandpa leaves him. He's got some stuff going on. Yeah.
He's Taekwondo.
Yes.
Because he's Korean. He's doing kicks. Taekwondo. It's obvious.
There's a twist to his Taekwondo. But I don't want to spoil it.
It's gonna be some fucking like Rurouni Kenshin, like it's like the Batosai style. My Taekwondo was made to kill, or some dumb shit like that.
His Taekwondo is made to beat other people's Taekwondo. It's called his style specifically is called Renewal Taekwondo.
How do you?
It's basically made. I guess it is. I guess it is a real martial art. I guess is that true? That's not true. That can't be true. No, this is the wiki. But yeah, basically, I mean, this whole thing is it's Taekwondo, but it's specifically made to counter other people's.
So is he gonna fight the guy he's fighting currently? And
yes.
They're gonna be fighting, and the guy's gonna be like, "Why can't I beat this guy?" He's gonna be like, "You don't understand." And he's gonna like do like some what's his name from Tekken? Hua Wrong?
Hua Wrong. Yeah.
Whatever. Then he's gonna do some fucking leg shit and be like, "You don't understand. You got regular Taekwondo. I got fucking."
I mean, you already saw that shit, dude. He fucking did that shit with his. Dude, that shit was so sick.
Fucking
got him right in the ankle with that.
So there's not gonna be. Is there anyone in this series from your memory who does Jeet Kune Do or Bruce Lee's martial art?
I can't remember.
Because the author of this or the authors of this would be severely missing out if they don't have someone walk in there fucking like Bruce Lee in it. You know, they'd be missing out completely.
I can't remember off the top of my head because it's been like since high school since I read the series.
The idea of like I'm a martial artist whose specialty is anti-taekwondo.
Yeah.
So is he not going to be good against karate people?
I can't remember. I know there's one point where he does fight against the karate guy. They have some sort of disagreement about something that happens. They end up having to fight.
That's like in general, because there's going to be other like if the most common martial arts across the world are fucking karate and taekwondo. You know, there's going to be more fighters who use the same
They
stuff,
have some
right?
interest. There are definitely some interesting fighting styles that come up, specifically in this intro tournament arc. There were some really cool and interesting fighting styles that come up.
Right. Well, I'm very excited to
Yeah, I'm excited
see
to dig further
more.
into it, dude.
Maybe I'll read some. We'll see what happens. But all right,
It's
Zach,
making me want to read it again.
to leave it to you for your final pick of the episode for your.
It's tied for me. So this
Okay.
is tied for my #1 spot because God of High School, I mean, is fucking phenomenal. I can't wait for it. But this is tied because ReZero second season is coming out, and this is suffering in the anime. I really love these characters a lot. I was talking about, I think a couple of months ago, that I was watching the director's cut as it was coming out. I caught up to the director's cut. It left on a really fucking good cliffhanger, and the first episode came out already, and they fucking go balls to the wall in the first episode. They fucking put the pedal to the metal. And I can't wait to see where the rest of the season goes. It's going to be 2 parts because I think this part's going to come out in the summer. And then there's going to be another 12 episodes that comes out, I think, in January, starting. So we're going to get another 24 episodes. But I can't wait, dude. It's fucking great. I love this world that it's in. I love all the characters that are in it so far. I know there are even more that get introduced, but yeah. So ReZero Season 2 is also tying for my top spot for most anticipated.
Well, sounds good. And Zach, is there anything else you want to mention before we end the pod?
No, that was it, man. Yeah, we did quite the episode.
Yeah, well, it took us fucking 2 times.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see y'all back next week with more License to View on the usual services.
Yes.
So,
See you
guys. See you guys next
Excellent.
week.